gain thing. We only ever went with the tractor hauled system because we're not professional sugar beet people. Okay, let's get this back one unloaded. That fell in. Go on, fall in, please. What are you waiting for? Oh, start the engine. Oh, there we go. There, it all fell in. That's good. How's that tank filling up? Nice thing about doing this in cab. Okay, we've got barely over 50%. That may put us up to 60, I don't know, 55, I don't know. But we'll pull the last off the cow field and go and get a little bit, or the cow yard, and go and get a little bit more from one of the other fields. So that's actually covered all of our motorised equipment, and we do have a couple more bits of machinery. And of course the map to talk about. Okay, I forgot to turn the auto load on. We've got our in-field slurry resupply tank, which the way I do slurry spreading on this map, I tend to let a worker go, taking slurry from the BGA as it needs it, but then because the fields are not square, I generally have to come back and fill in the bits it missed. And in order to do that, I'm draining the tank at that point. So I then have to have some form of resupply point close by, so that we can keep everything filled for the next field. I find if I prep well first, I can have everything on the field that I need on the field to do it, and I don't have to spend 20 minutes running down to the BGA to grab some more digestate to top off the tanks again. So the slurry spreader contains, I think, about 18,000 litres. That tank there's 50, and the resupply tankers on the AR frame system is another 30 each. So you're looking about 130,000 litres available for me to use, and the worker will just draw from the BGA digestate tank as it needs it. And I don't play with course play, so that's why I do it that way. If I did play with course play, I'd probably set up a truck with the 2 tanks on the back and have it run down to the BGA, fill up the tanks, and come back to the field and be able to resupply the spreader on the field. So in the fake world of Farm Sim, we say that's what's really happening, but since I'm not going to spend my entire day driving to and from the BGA like I am right now, especially not since I'm usually using it when I'm doing other things as well, and I can't be carting from a harvester and running a truck down to the BGA and back to fetch slurry or digestate. So we just say in the fake world that's what's happening. You just don't get to see me driving the truck to and from the BGA. And everything's quiet, so it's ready for the next load. Raise. Close. That's that load. Doing 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Should be chewing through this quite quickly. Anyway, let's jump over to the sheep farm. This here. So this little truck is the, bear with me a sec, pickup triple pack. So we have a flatbed pickup, pure flatbed, with a tank optional. Works exactly like our frame system. So if we jump in there, I can unload that and drive the truck out from underneath. And I could stack bales on that truck. Use that to deliver water to the sheep. The pack itself comes with somewhere. There they are, triple pack. So you get, oh, I can't rotate that, a truck with 190 horsepower V6 or a V8 or an inline 6 blower. Back to the V6. That's 306 horsepower, 306 on the V8. Okay. Attaches standard trailer hitch, obviously body colour, design affects the wheel, what they look like, stock interior, sport interior, and standard. I see. Don't know what that does. Does that do anything? No. Nothing functional, but it probably makes it look nice. Anyway, so you get the regular style pickup. You get a pickup with a frame on the back. I think that's okay. Where is that? Design standard. UAL is typically auto load. So potentially we have an auto load function there. The IC is possibly the frames, and this is the truck that I have. You can put the tank on the back. And then the last one is a logging cage, so you can chuck small logs in the back of this one. Again, this one actually surprised me when I looked it up. This one is also made by GTX Mod, who made our trucks. I had no idea. I've been playing with it for that long, but again, very good quality piece of equipment, and I like it. What do we have over here? Standard stuff. Not interested. Let's a tether. So over here we have a safety weight. The safety weight is by Monkey Walk, and I use that on whatever's following the baler, so that I can use these sort of safety arms on the weight to straighten up the bales as I'm picking them up or getting them ready to wrap. Last mod we have that is functional piece of equipment is Black Sheep's Modding's Xylor Rayboard stump grinder, which you stick on a 3-point hitch at the front of the tractor, and you stick it on a front loader. There you go. And you wiggle it around a lot until you destroy the stump. And for Farm Sim 17 works much better than the in-game stump grinder. That now covers all of our motorized equipment. Sorry, I forgot about the triple pack. And all of our functional equipment. Should probably take time to jump back here because I'm sure it's ready for another feed. So I'll drop that in there, and hopefully, yes, works nicely. Now, when it comes to mods, I'm not one to stick with a poor mod. And so if a mod doesn't work well for me, I'm not going to use it. And we have been playing this farm for about 700 hours. The class Axions, one of them has been around since I started. So that's how good I like that piece of equipment, that mod. Works, not only does it fit very nicely as far as this farm is concerned, but it's also, it works well as a mod. Yeah, very, very good quality mod. The GTX mod trucks, these AR frame trucks, again, the yellow one has been around since the start of the map 700 hours ago. It's a good mod. The AR frames function well, and I have no problems with any of them. Recommend GTX mods work. He recently pulled over the cow food and pig food mixers that he had in 17. I never used them, but they were featured on, I think it was Daggerwin played with them on Chellington in 17. Very handy. You just throw in for the cow mixer silage, hay and straw, and it's a sort of a triple dump. Basically it's a big box with open dump area where you can dump each of those products, and then there's a pipe on the side that distributes cow feed. It takes time to make, and so you dump when you can, and you go back later and pick up what you need. So anyway, that is, turn that off. I'm gonna leave that there for now, and we'll fast wind time to tomorrow, because we have a lot to do tomorrow in tipping stuff and selling some pigs and all sorts of stuff like that. So we'll get through to nightfall. Might as well check out the sunset. Sunset is very pretty on this map. You get a nice view on the hill behind that hill over there, behind the main yard. we should be close. We can sleep, and I'm going to sleep till 8:30 because I don't want to be driving around at night time, because why would I? And here we are, and conversely there's the sunrise. How did we do? Okay, milk production over winter is very high. We make a lot of money from milk at this time of year. Pretty much covers all of our costs and then some. Should probably check our vehicles while we're here. Back up. Oh, that was the vehicle list. Kramer's got to be done in 3 days. Is there anything that needs a service right now? Oh, the little Massey's 3 days out, and 3 days for the blue truck. We're good there. So animals need feeding today. Which animals need feeding? The pigs need food, and the cows need food, and I have no grass left, so the grass is now going to deplete on the cows, which will reduce the amount of stuff. What's the stuff that they eat? They produce milk. They will produce less milk when the grass goes. We're not too worried about that. I kind of cheat that in, if you like. There is no grass available on the ground to cut during winter. But if on the last day of fall you create some silage bales, then that's wrapped grass until they finish brewing, which on 6-day seasons, 48 hours. So I can always drop a wrapped grass bale into the cow pasture, and it's treated as grass. So, since we are closest here, we'll go get ourselves some bales. And then we'll look at getting back in the blue truck and going to market with some stuff. And Whitehawk, welcome to the stream. We're currently selling lots of stuff and talking about the mods I'm using and mentioning their authors, because the authors need the respect. Okay, let's turn the auto pick up on that one and that one. I'll go get something from the rear pile as well. Good. So yeah, one of the problems I found on the last day of fall, I had intended to create some of these bales as hay, basically because the sheep are kind of low on supply of hay bales. And so I set up, originally, for the first 2 fields I'd set up the train with the mowing rig and a windrower on one of the Axions, followed up by the baler, followed up by the wrapper. And to make hay, I take the windrower off the back of the Axion and put the tedder on it, and I swap out the wrapper for the windrower. And I set that all up, and I'm cutting the field, and obviously it's grass, and the wet ground icon where up at the top left hand side, let's do that. Right here you can see the frozen ground icon. I can't plough the ground, I can't do anything, cultivate, I can't plant, I can't do nothing. If you have the wet crop icon, you can't harvest. Well, I did discover that turn GPS off for now. You can cut wet grass. That's not a problem. So I cut the grass while it was still wet and turned it into silage. No issues there. And then I switched to the hay production, and we cut the grass. Obviously the grass is wet, but wet dry grass isn't a thing in 17. And the tedder went across it, and you could see the tedder was flinging hay out the back, and as soon as the hay hit the wet ground it turned back into grass. And then I obviously windrowed it and baled it, so that was a complete failure. So one of the things I learnt about seasons in 17, do not try to make hay out of grass when the ground is wet, because it just doesn't work. So we'll have to, it's something to know, but unfortunately it's kind of a bit late in the game to do anything about it. So pull forward a little, and we'll drop those in there and feed nicely. Okay, pull that up to there. Okay, now we need this truck here. So yeah, see, the prices have gone up by about 90. So we did miss out on some wheat value, and as you can see, the worst wheat price is £20 better than the best barley price. I believe we don't have barley at the other site, so we should be looking at 239 here. 239, yeah. So the silo down at the, that's going to A&M. That's going to A&M. The silo down in the cow farm is empty. Yes, today is the last day we are on this farm. I have done all the accounting. I believe the land I own is worth 5.5 million. That's the arable fields. I have no idea, obviously, what the farmyards are worth, because they don't have value in 17. I don't know how much all the equipment's worth, but I will figure that out after the stream, and when I start the next series I'll let you know what my findings were in as far as the value of all the stuff we have. The new series, I will not transfer all the money in one job lot. It will basically be, we will start off with the ready cash that we have at the end of this episode. So at the moment we've got 2.6 million. We will start with at least that much, probably more, since we're selling stuff today. So but that money will be available for starting equipment, starting land on the next series. Yes, and surprising actually, we're playing in hard mode, which means that you get the least amount for your crop sales, you get the most expensive fertilizer and stuff. Yeah, everything you buy is more expensive, everything you sell has less value. But we are still doing well. You get the least amount of money for your milk, you get the least amount of money for your wool. But this map does have a favourable economy, I think it was described as. So map makers can juggle with the base prices to make them better than you would normally expect for the same difficulty level on one of the base maps like Goldcrest. But we're now at the point, I mean, if you, I'll show you in a minute. I want to go over there. The amount of land we own, it's not surprising how much money we can make in a harvest. I make so much money in a harvest that I can buy 3 or 4 large fields at the end of every year, or at the beginning of the next year, or at harvest next year. The farm is kind of looking after itself. There we go. So if I set that off to upload, and in the meantime, so at the moment we own these 2 fields, so right along the road line there. That's the side road that I drive up to the BGA. Every field below that point, except for this large field here, which is along the main farm entrance on the left side. This field here, and everything down here. Now we start off with these 2, these 2, these 4, which I ploughed into 1, this one, and this pasture. This is not a ploughed field when you start. This is just mat grass. And I planted this as grass as well because I knew I wanted to start off with sheep early on, so I figured I'd need more grass. Yes, we are looking at adopting. We had our interview this week with the child's caseworker, and so they're having a meeting, I think the week of the 20th, 24th, to decide if they want to go ahead with allowing us to visit with the child and get to know the child. Once we've gotten to know the child, then it's actually a mutual agreement between us and the child whether we want to go ahead with adoption. So that's where that stands at the moment. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the amount of land we own is not quite half of the map. Now I have enough cash to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 these 6 fields right now, which would put us into everything north of the main road. Sorry, south of the main road, which is getting on for 2/3 of the map. So I can increase my holding from about half to about 2/3. So that's how much money we're making on this farm now. Now I did collect the gold, which is on the hill overlooking the main farm. We'll probably close the series from there, because that's where the maps sort of picture is, mod hub picture is basically set on top of that hill. Now for those latecomers, Mrs. Ose is out this morning, which is nice. We can play as long as we want to, except we can't, because this afternoon we are now under contract to sell our house. The buyers are coming over with their inspector to inspect the property, and that means I have to be out of the house for 3 hours this afternoon. So we're gonna probably try and find a movie theatre with a movie that we want to see and go and watch a movie for the afternoon. Obviously we've got the laundry going in the basement, we've got the dishwasher going right now, and those need to be emptied before the inspection happens this afternoon. Okay, so if I do 59, 118, I might be able to do 3 full loads out of this. Yes. We don't actually have a lot of value, small, easily mobile valuables. I've got my cell phone, we'll take that with me, and we've got car keys and that's really it. And the car keys are all hidden away. We should probably check on other way. The BGA. That's very quiet here. Let's unload.